I'm Dean's dad.
I'm Dean's dad.
And I'm Dean's mom.
I'm Dean's mom.
And you are?
Who are you?
Adrian.
And you are?
Dean's brother.
All right.
Yeah. Dean was 3 years old when he was diagnosed.
Yep, and it was the worst day of our lives for sure. It was actually the day after Halloween, and he started. He had been having some headaches the week before, and then that night of Halloween, he didn't want to trick or treat. He didn't want to eat candy. He was just not himself. And that night, when he woke up to use the bathroom, he couldn't. He had lost his balance. He couldn't stand up on his own. So we ended up in the emergency room, and they took him in for a CAT scan, and they found that there was a mass, and so they went in for surgery, but when they came out, it was a very grim prognosis that he had been diagnosed with a brain tumor that was very aggressive, and that there was no curative treatment for it. So I mean, imagine, our whole family was completely just we crumbled
He
at
was
that moment.
he was close to the same age that Adrian is now when he was diagnosed. And our lives went from this to being totally different parents, different world, and in hospitals every day. And it completely turned our lives upside down to hear that there was no diagnosis or any cure for our son's cancer.
Yeah, and the whole family is affected by that. Everybody, all of a sudden, is you just can't believe it's happening to you. It's the things you hear on the news. It's the things you hear that happen to other people, but you never think it's going to happen to you. And so you just have to adapt. And for us, I think it was in the beginning. We were really sad, we were really depressed, but then there came a point where we just had to turn it around and be positive and think, have hold on to our faith and do everything we could to at least maintain a normal life for Dean. Because if we crumble and we're miserable and we're moping around the house, what does that do for him and for Adrian? So we had to really just lean on our faith, which we did, and that's really what got us through every single day, and try to stay positive despite the fact that we felt that the doctors were telling us there was nothing they could do. We just chose to be positive every single day and look at things from the perspective of faith, and that God was with us and would carry us through.
The first time we were introduced to Fight Like a Kid was shortly after Dean was diagnosed. We didn't know what Fight Like a Kid was, but it was probably the first care package we received. And from that moment, the floodgates of love came through the door. Bianca was an angel to us, a huge smile when we desperately needed it, and only because of the foundation and because she was somebody that was walking the walk that we were in. And along the ways, there was always a smile on Bianca and Fight Like a Kid.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, we love Bianca. Obviously, she's a special, very special person. And just her mission is to bring smiles to kids' faces that are going through these tough times, and she accomplishes that every day by her work. I mean, she came to our house a few times and brought Dean a bunch of toys. She met us at the hospital for his first day of chemo and subsequent chemos. And honestly, it just felt so nice to have that support and that comfort of somebody who knows exactly what we're going through, and that's fighting the same battle, because she's going through her own fight with cancer. And it just, the whole team, her mom, everybody that's involved, her whole family, they have just given themselves tirelessly to this cause, and it's beautiful. We're so touched, and we continue to be touched by them and how they support our family and our son Adrian even after we lost Dean. So my advice to people that have never been touched by childhood cancer or by any real tragedy in their lives is that we tend to get so caught up in the small things of life, the things that are really not important, material things, just little things that our kids do that might annoy us or that we think is improper. I think the most important thing is to really value the connections that you have with your family, the time you can spend with them. Enjoy nature, enjoy the simple things in life, and don't sweat the small stuff, because really once you're touched with something so tragic, you realize that everything that we get caught up in this world is just, it's not worth it, and it's really not important. What's important is health and the time you can spend with your family and your loved ones, and the good you can do in the world, and who you can help. one of the things that was a beautiful thing and a positive side of being affected by cancer was just the rally in our community, that our school community at St. Louis, our family, our friends that just came around to support us, people that brought us meals and food. And I think the humanity and that human aspect was such a beautiful sort of side effect of what we went through. And it taught us to be better people, to help others, to just, if somebody's going through something, send them something, do something for them, give them a quick phone call, whatever, but show that you care and that you love them. And to me, that's my message to everybody who hasn't been affected by something like this.
Perfect. Fight like a kid. It's cancer's turn to be afraid.
For your muscles.